I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
The
More.
You
No.
Podcast.
Today I want to discuss Richard Bandler and John Grinder's 6-step reframing process, which is used to change any undesirable behavior into desirable behavior. So Richard and John are the founders of NLP, also known as neuro-linguistic programming. And the essence of NLP is to reprogram your brain by using your conscious mind and talking to yourself. And NLP, which is very similar to CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is one of the most successful processes you can go through to make a difference in how you think and act. And while this reframing process will assist in changing undesirable behavior to desirable behavior, it allows you to maintain the benefits from the old behavior. So I now want to go through the 6-step process, starting with the first step, being to identify the pattern or behavior that you're looking to change. Once you've identified the pattern or behavior you wish to change, you now reach step 2, which is to establish communication with the part of your unconscious mind which triggers this behavior. So you must take time to meditate on this behavior, going inside and asking yourself about this behavior. Doing so in a passive and alert manner, focused on body sensations, visuals, and sounds, so you get a fully encompassed understanding of this behavior. And what you're ultimately trying to do is understand the response to this behavior, so then when you change the behavior, you're able to harness both the response from the behavior you're trying to change, as well as the behavior from the change that you're making. We then reach the third step, which is to separate intention from behavior. And at this point you need to go inside yourself and acknowledge the change of intentions that you've made, and understand that the intention that's tied to the behavior can be formed in a more healthy manner and is not solely dictated by the behavior. Take the example of the person who's only comfortable interacting with others when they're drinking. The intention behind the behavior of drinking is to be comfortable. And at this point of the process, it would be important to understand that your intention is to be comfortable, and you can become comfortable without drinking. And once you've separated the intention from the behavior, you now reach step 4, which is to create alternative behaviors to satisfy the intentions. So what this means is that undesirable behavior that you're looking to change, that you partake in for a specific intention, must be replaced with some other behavior that provides a similar or better form of the initial intention. So you must replace what you're doing with something else that reaps a similar reward. And this is also shown in the alcoholic community, where a lot of people who sober up and begin going to AA also get into extreme forms of physical fitness, because what they're ultimately doing is getting the same intention of feeling good, just from a different behavior. And this step is crucial, because if you aren't able to satisfy your intentions that were behind the initial undesirable behavior, it'll be extremely difficult to ever replace that undesirable behavior. But once you've determined that alternative behavior that satisfies your intentions, you now reach step 5, which is accepting and taking responsibility over these new choices. And so what this means is that in step 5, once you've determined your alternative behavior in step 4, you fully commit to it. You understand that this is a new way that you're going about life, and you're going to be proactive about partaking in the alternative behavior in order to replace the undesirable behavior. And once you've committed to making this change and you're going about making the change, you now reach step 6, which is to make an ecological check. And at this point, what you're doing is you're visualizing future events where you would normally be partaking in that undesirable behavior, but now instead partaking in the alternative behavior, and taking notice if you believe that alternative behavior is strong enough to replace the undesirable behavior in that instance. So with the example of the person who drinks to be comfortable around others, that person would take the time to visualize being in a bar or going to a party or some other engagement with other people, and rather than doing the undesirable behavior of drinking, they would picture themselves partaking in the alternative behavior they've created to reap the similar rewards of the initial intent. And if in their mind and heart they believe that this alternative behavior would reap the same rewards, they know it's strong enough to overcome and replace the undesirable behavior. But if not, what it indicates is that you need to go through the process again and find another healthy alternative behavior that will satisfy your intentions. Going through this process will literally replace any form of undesirable behavior, no matter if it's a small compulsion, something in the way you communicate, some way you think, or some form of extreme addiction. By going through this 6-step process and replacing the undesirable behavior with desirable behavior that satisfies similar intentions, you enable yourself to make any change you want in your life. And if you're able to make a positive change to anything in your life, you will no doubt be able to craft a life of significance.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
The
More
You
No
Podcast.